Welcome back to SUGCON. This is the last day, so we're all getting sad, but well, that's what it is. So today we'll be talking about 4 pillars and 4 platforms, and we're going to be doing some comparison between Sitecore and other platforms. So first, let's introduce myself. Today's speakers, we have José Neto, that's me. So I work as a solutions architect at ARC, and I'm Sitecore MVP 8 times, and I'm also Sitecore Hackathon champion 1 time with my colleague here, Rodrigo. I'm working with Sitecore for the last 10 years already, and also co-founder of SUGBR, and I have my blog as well, sitecoretips.blog. So if you have some time and some curiosity, please take a look in my blog. You can find some good stuff there, and I always try to post something every month to help the community. And we also have here Rodrigo.
Pleasure to meet you guys. For those who I don't meet yet, I'm Rodrigo Peplau. I am the head of the Brazilian office of ARC. We have a huge base of developers in Brazil. We have about 40 people now. It's been a while that I work with Sitecore. I started with 2010, when I remember there was only maybe less than 10 config files under the include folder. You remember that, Jeremy? What a time. Yeah. Well, and like Jose said, we are lovers of hackathons. It's been so sad that this year we have prioritized this session instead of being part of the hackathon, because I feel we could win. Yeah, but anyhow, we won twice. To be very honest, winning is not the most important part, because every year we learn a lot in the hackathons. What else? Who am I? Yeah, so it's wrong. I'm completing 16 years of Sitecore, and also very proud of being founded the Brazilian user group. We have completed 10 years. And I have stickers here for you, okay? Brazilian user group and the Go Horse, our team. Please feel free to pick as you want. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we are ARC, a company that has been founded in 2005. We have, by nature, we are agnostics. Maybe we have our preferences here and there, but we are working with many different platforms. Recently, we have been acquired by MSQ. MSQ is a huge company. We're proud to be part of it. And we brought a lot of luggage from that experience that we have since 2005. As you can see, we are, and I'm sorry for all those logos. It's not something traditional in a user group like this. But this is to show that we are not like committed deeply to any platform. And I think this is something that any good developers or any good technicians must be open, right? And I think this puts us in a very interesting spot that allowed us to do this kind of platform comparison. And speaking a little bit about what this comparison is, so what was the process behind the comparison you're gonna see today? Well, I just said we work to a company that is used to performing comparisons. We do that all the time. We have our reputation to take care of. Clients don't want you to push things on top of them. They want you to select the right tool for their problems. And when we are agnostic like this, we can keep our reputation, right, intact, because you're not committed to anything. You're not a sales guy. We have a bunch of workflows. We have a lot of tools. We know the methods. We have the templates and the experience to do this kind of things. And that was a very interesting exercise that we have done, because it was moved basically by our curiosity, not for anyone who has asked us to do that. Well, So we have conducted a technical analysis, and in some cases we had access to sandboxes, like Sitecore broadly gave us access to that. We also have access to other sandboxes, and for some cases we had access, we don't have, so we had to rely on public information. So that's what we have done. And I think it's important to tell that it was very simplified by nature analysis. So you don't expect this to be going down, deep down to the beats of it. We are high level by because we are want to be high level. And I think it's also important to say that because the AI is still very incipient in the beginning, companies are still adapting to it. So since we applied this paper maybe 3 months ago, a lot has changed already. And to catch up and update the slides is a big challenge. And I can imagine 6 months from now, 1 year from now. So yeah, keep in mind, this is going to change. This is a picture of the moment, and things change very quickly in this landscape. If nobody knows what's going on tomorrow, I think this means that this is a live, live thing. It's changing all the time. So please don't have this as written stone, right? So that's the biggest message here.
All right. So, well, in order to do this comparison, we have to elect a few criteria. So we elect like 4 pillars. So with those pillars, we can make a comparison between the platforms. So first pillar that we elect was customizing the DXP. So how can we extend the DXP? How can we make it better? How can build, how can install things in the DXP and change it, right? So second pillar that we elected is like the agentic automation. So agents are the buzzword of the year. So we had to put this basically, right? So everyone is expecting to talk about agentic. So we are going to talk about agentic too. So the other pillar as well, it is the community marketplace. So it is, in a way, it is a way of extending the DXP as well, but in a different way, right? So we have the community involved, we have the partners involved. So it changes a little bit how this is done. So, and well, it's an important pillar in this customization too. So, and another pillar to elect is the connectivity integration, how you can connect your DXP maybe to other platforms, get some information from here, from there, and bring it to your DXP. So for Sitecore itself, we do have a respective tool for each of those pillars. So we're able to see this, I would say, in a very easy way. So for customizing the DXP, you do have the App Studio. So for the App Studio, you can develop your own apps. You can customize things, right? So it's a new thing that we have for Sitecore, really cool. So we do have one pillar for App Studio. We're going to be talking about that. Second one, we have the Agentic Studio as well. So we have this new stuff in Sitecore, really cool. So in Agentic Studio is where you're going to be creating agents. So we're going to be creating agents, let's say, for creating blogs, for creating translations, and many other things that the Agentic Studio from Sitecore can help you with. The other pillar that we have here, and we have the marketplace. So for Sitecore, we do have a marketplace. It is new, yes, but we do have a marketplace, a public marketplace as well. So that's cool. And for Sitecore Connect, and for this connectivity part, we do have a tool for Sitecore, which is the Sitecore Connect, and Rodrigo will be talking about this as well. So let's talk about our first pillar. So our first pillar, it is customizing the DXP. So how can you do some customizations on your DXP, right? So first thing, the customization iceberg. So we're going to plan your Sitecore project, right? So you have a start date, you have an end date. So it's going to take, I don't know, 3 months, 6 months, it doesn't matter. But you're eventually going to finish and you're going to deliver this to your client. And eventually, next week, he's going to ask you for something else, something that the business will come with, and you're going to be developing a new sprint, right? So that's just a part of the job. That's why you are here. However, every time the client asks you to do something, this eventually becomes like a custom code, right? So it's a custom code that you're building. however, the custom code and the platform, they ages in a different way, right? Let's say you have Sitecore 8, 9, 10, and then you had like a new version, upgrades, and security patches that you are building, and your custom code doesn't age in the same way that the platform. So have two different things aging in different ways, right? So, and this now is changing a lot because now we are going to SaaS world, right? So, and then in the SaaS world, this changes, and doing upgrades, it gets like heavily punished your customizations, right? So how we used to do those extends, how we used to extend the DXPs. So first thing, we used to do like core customization. So for all those versions, Sitecore 8, 9, 10, we were able to create buttons that were not there, functionalities that were not there. We could like customize the pipelines. We could change deeply, like decoding, like getting the Sitecore DLL, like checking the code and checking the layers of Sitecore and expanding that, and that gives us a lot of flexibility. That is awesome. But these are changing, and now well, it's a new world that we're entering, right? So the customization were very tied to the platform version, right? So you did the customization for Sitecore 8 or Sitecore 9, Sitecore 10, and once you are moving to a new version, you eventually create like a big upgrade project, because you're not just installing the platform. You need to make sure all your code that you did for that particular platform is also portable to the new platform, and those files changes, the methods changes, so a lot of things are not won't work anymore. So we had to rewrite a lot of code, right? So this eventually leads to like painful upgrades. So those big upgrades projects that you have to do it, right? So this world is changing. So, and now we have something different now. So we do have like a marketplace and a custom development. So we have those two things there, right? So first, the marketplace, it is a way of also customizing your DXP, but it won't replace your team. Why not? Because marketplace, like public marketplace, everyone has access to that. So everyone will have the same basis of code. So all the basic problems that we have, you eventually find that in the marketplace, and you're gonna download and install on your Sitecore application, right? So what your custom team will be doing, right? So your custom team will be doing the differentiator, the factor that makes you different from your competitor. So that's what your team you're gonna be developing. That's what your team is gonna be put their skills to do it, right? So to become the differentiator here. So the marketplace are complementary things, so they won't eliminate the development team, right? So here we're going to talk about our first criteria that we select for that. So first formal criteria that is the formal app development hub is the criteria that you're going to explore now. So for Sitecore, we gave 5 stars, right? And why we gave Sitecore 5 stars in having a dedicated app studio? So in Sitecore, you do have this app studio, right? And it is a place where you can, it's a centralized place where I can create, register, and manage those apps. Also delete if you want to. But now you do have a separated place for in Sitecore platform of doing that. So that's why we gave 5 stars for Sitecore in this criteria. And for the first competitor, we gave 4 stars. The second competitor, we gave 3 stars, and the other one, we gave 4 stars. The other criteria that we select are low-code capabilities. So is there things in Sitecore that we can do it without needing a developer for doing that? And yes, so for the App Studio, we do have a few things that can be done, that can be set up without you need like a Sitecore developer for that. So you can do, let's say, with a Sitecore operator or a marketer, someone else that can have access to Sitecore and can set the foundation, the infrastructure of your custom development, right? So they won't be doing any development, right? The development team is still doing the development, but someone here can set the basics, the infrastructure, and configure, giving some access to the APIs, this kind of stuff in the Sitecore UI. So for the Sitecore, for this criteria, we gave Sitecore 4 stars, and here you are seeing the Sitecore application. We are seeing here you given access to the Sitecore API. So the person that's doing this infrastructure setup can give access to Sitecore APIs. Also, it's gonna select or type in where it's being hosted. So the app itself is not hosted in Sitecore, so it's hosted elsewhere in a different place. And also, let's say you can select here your app logo, and here we have this beautiful London bus, right? And here, well, we have their competitors. We have here 3 stars for the first competitor. We have 2 stars for the other competitor, and for the last competitor, we have 2 stars as well. So another criteria that we select is SaaS safety. So when you're gonna do, when the platform is gonna evolve and change, are you gonna break the platform somehow? So for this criteria, we gave Sitecore 5 stars. So because now everything runs completely in isolation. So you have your apps running separated, you have the marketplace apps running separated, and you have the platform separated as well. So this isolation protects the platforms, protects the platform of the breaking, basically, right? So when now the platform is evolving, and inside Core now you can see it. You can even in the SaaS world you can follow up the changes, right? They can come at any time, and here you also can follow up. You have the a new implementation, new features, everything that's coming to Sitecore. So this is a criteria that we elected to talk about it. And for the other competitors, well, we have 5 stars for the first competitor as well. For the second competitor, we do have 4 stars for them, and for the last competitor, we have 5 stars as well. So for customizing the DXPs, so this first pillar, we have more criteria here that we selected, but there's just not enough time to go to each one of them. But first, formal app development hub, we talk a little bit about that. So we gave Sitecore 5 stars here. For agentic capabilities, we gave 5 stars for Sitecore. For marketplace, we gave 4 stars. For API and SDK maturity, we gave 4 stars. For low-code capabilities, we gave 4 stars, and Sitecore is going in a really good direction on this. And for SaaS safety, we gave 5 stars to Sitecore. And the average that we see here for Sitecore, we see 4.5, and the maximum that we select here is like 5. So they can go from like 0 or 5, right? For the other competitor, we gave the average of them is like 4.2, and the other one it is 3.3. And the last competitor here on the table, we do have 4.2.
Cool. Yeah. So the second pillar, agentic automation. The buzzword of the year has to be in our slides, of course. Right. First, why is it important to have an automation framework in a DXP, right? We have been surviving without that for years. Why do we need that? Well, first of all, most obvious, everybody's doing that. You don't want to be left behind. But it's important to have an agentic automation layer like this to help manage the increasing complexity. You know, as the digital ecosystem, they evolve, they are continuing growing complexity. And these DXPs, they are getting every time, every year, more and more complex. I just mentioned the number of config files. I love to use this parameter because it's a very anecdotic thing, and like experienced people like us knows what that means. And dealing with this kind of complexity without automation is very difficult, and without intelligent automation even more. Having an automation layer like agentic will make the whole ecosystem in a better position to deliver much better experiences and also handle all that complexity. Well, orchestration across systems is very important. We are in a headless world, a SaaS world, everything is disconnected. In the past, we used to live in this monolith. I don't like this name, but whatever it is, it used to be one thing only. We build the things there. It's always the same place. Everything's cool, everything at home. But now everything is spread. So you have to orchestrate cross systems, right? This allows the platform to be speaking to different systems automatically, reacting to real-time events, reacting to data and all that. Third point, this turns AI into an operational layer. So in the DXP, it can monitor, monitor performance, identify opportunities, and other things like, so plan and execute actions. All those things without agentic AI would be impossible. We have to use a human person to do that. Also, the operational bottleneck, it helps improve that. There's a lot of manual operational needed on DXPs. If you can automate, especially the boring parts, you are going to have an increase in the performance and in your efficiency. Also, historically, many enterprise DXPs require large automation, large implementation teams. So that's heavy for smaller companies, mid-level companies, but because it depends on heavy engineering involvement. But with this kind of agentic AI, we can automate, I would say, and orchestrate lowering operational overhead. So that's also important. Save money, right? Everybody loves that. Okay, and starting with the first criteria we're speaking is marketer usability, no code. And here you see the agentic studio in place. You're configuring here an agent that is capable of writing blog posts. And you see that it's, the prompting, you are setting up all visually. It's no code. If it's producing data, in this case, an article, you can set up the schema. You can tell how the fields will be, what are the schema in the contract of what you're producing. You can set up as well how it will look and feel with HTML if needed only. And not to mention the workflow, it's, I would say, very easy to understand the sequence of operations that each agent is doing will be there in the workflow, so easy for anyone to see. And here you see one example of the agent in action. I will asking here, write a blog post about SitecoreAI Agentic Studio. It will write a blog post, it will research on internet, it will compile all the information, and finally there is your blog post. As you can see, of course, you need a human to read this thing, and I hope you are doing that, right? Human in the loop. Otherwise, we're not playing, right? We are in corporate world, so we have to be careful about what we publish. And that's why we also have, branding aware and etc. In that situation, we are giving Sitecore 5 stars because we see that it's this agentic studio is fully no code, reduce dependency on developers and all that. While the some competitions, this was a very tight one actually criteria. The other competitors are tied sometimes a little ahead, or no, not ahead, cannot be ahead of 5, but yeah, tied. But yeah, some of their platforms, and not surprisingly, the older platforms, they are even more, I will say, most IT dependent, right? Dependent on technicians to do that. And that's why this is the final score for this. Governance and control, because when you have our agents, you don't want everybody to access that. You want control on who is going to be having access to that. Here you have the setup of I would say approval workflow, where you can set up human in the loop, which is very important when you're dealing with AI. And this tool allows us to set up that very easily, and testing that shows that this puts Sitecore ahead in this. Here is one example of I will show how we can configure the visibility. You can have a private agent, you can have agents. I'm sharing with Jose Neto here. So only him will have access, or you can have public agents. And here you see one example of using a brand-aware agent. I'm selecting here the ARC's guidelines and selecting the brand-aware content agent, and asking explain ARC's approach to Sitecore implementations. This will be using our guidelines, our knowledge base, our understanding, our tone of voice, and our colors, brand colors, and etc., to get this explanation about how ARC approaches Sitecore implementations. This is one example, of course, but shows the power of having this, this kind of tool. And that's why in this criteria, we are giving 5-star to Sitecore, but also to everybody else. So we have a huge tie here. And I think this shows how dynamic this environment is being, because, they are all catching up. There's still work in progress everywhere and imperfections everywhere. In this case, most of all of our competitors are performing very well, right? Okay, so here is a very, very tight scorecard, the score columns or whatever. Everybody very close to being, 5 stars. We are tied with Contentstack in this situation. Sitecore's product is also newer, but I also think that being newer, it's an advantage in this situation, because you can learn with the competitors' failures and mistakes. You can learn from there. And yeah, so we are 4-9 to the second, the third 4-5, and 4-4. Not bad at all. Everything is so tied in this. There you go.
Okay. All right, so now we're going to talk a little bit about marketplace. So it's the other pillar that you have here. So first, what is a marketplace, right? So what is not? So it is not a lot of GitHub repositories spread around the internet, right? So that was the way that used to be. So you're going to find someone did something, and here's the Git repository, go download and install, right? So the idea is to end this. So we're going to have a centralized place where you can manage, install. You're going to uninstall those apps. You're going to find the version. You're going to know who created that. You're going to rate that app to see if it's good or not. The rating, it was announced yesterday that it will come to the marketplace, to Sitecore Marketplace. So that's good news. So also can be done. Who can create those apps, right? So vendors can create apps. We can create apps. So everyone can create apps and share that. And also another very important thing, it is the possibility of make some money on that. So before we have a lot of those apps made by the community that were eventually always free. So, but now it supports some monetization. So we are able to put there on the marketplace, and I charge a little bit on that. So I think this is a good thing, charging, because this gives what the people need also to make those apps and continue developing and supporting this thing, right? So helps the community as well and the partners. So a few use cases that we have for having a marketplace. So why we need a marketplace after all, right? So first thing that comes to my mind, it is like Google Analytics. It's something very basic that every Sitecore implementation, every DXP implementation, any site on the internet, you have a Google Analytics running there. So a way to capture a lot of information from the users there, right? So I remember doing this, and a lot of people that implemented Sitecore as well, in Sitecore 8, 9, 10, whatever, they got that JavaScript there. And then you need to put in Sitecore, for instance, then you need to create a field, then you need to configure here and there, make some custom code, then you're going to work in another client, he asks to do the same thing, other client, the same thing. So you start to do the same implementation, or going to be always maybe a little bit different from everyone, depends if the software was new or not. So, but eventually we have to reinvent the wheel. All the teams are doing that, reinventing the wheel, doing the same thing. All the teams are doing the same, right? So imagine just with one click, you can just do like a PayPal or a Shopify integration, right? So we don't need to try to find who built that, find a Git repository in the internet, see if one built it. You can just wait a minute. Okay, I have this, I don't need, should I really need to develop this? Let's try to find out in the marketplace, see if anyone already built that. And if it's already there, I just pay and install, and you know, I bring value to my team like very fast. So that's really powerful actually. So you can have like a Sitecore Content Hub connector, something that's already there. For Marketo, I worked in Marketo, like those, putting Marketo in Sitecore implementations many times. It was kind of the same thing as Google Analytics. Everyone asking Marketo, then you get the Marketo forms, you get a lot of JavaScripts, and you put it there, and then you make it show in your application, right? So then another client asks you to do the same, you do the same, another client do the same, all the teams are doing exactly the same. But eventually now with the marketplace, someone can just do it once, this connector, put there to charge, and everyone here can just, okay, I need the marketer ask me that you need a Marketo integration, so I just go to the marketplace, I look for a Marketo integration, and that's it. That simple click, I just can put Marketo in my application. I can have my team, my developers working something else and working a differentiator, right? So here are a few things that everyone that worked with Sitecore saw it eventually in their lives, right? So things that the community built and was free, right? So Sitecore PowerShell extensions, widely available. No one never spent a dime on that. Everyone is using, right? So Unicorn, so was there, made by Sitecore community as well. A lot of Sitecore implementations still have Unicorn, right? So Sitecore Forms, when you need something a little bit better, you could ask your team to do a customization of Sitecore Forms. In the past, I remember doing a lot of customizations, you know, in Sitecore Forms, make it better, you know, make different buttons, make different things that the business wanted us to do it, right? And well, Sitecore Forms was there as well to, you know, could just install and bring some value faster to your Sitecore. So everyone was trying to find, you know, type on internet, find who did. If everyone did, well, you found out and install on your Sitecore, right? So let's see the first criteria here now. So ecosystem maturity, right here. So we do have the Sitecore marketplace. It is online. It's very new, and for this time, Sitecore didn't score very well, because it is for this particular criteria, right? The maturity is very new, so it could not go much higher, right? So the first competitor here is scoring better. It's scoring like 4 stars here. The other competitor here, it is scoring 3. And the last competitor here, they had a very huge ecosystem, so it is score 5. So here, talk about the maturity when this started, right? For Sitecore, it just started, so it's very recent. So we have for the competitors, we have 2017, 19, 22. They already have this official, like say, marketplace that you could install. If you work Sitecore as we did. So Sitecore had something that you could download modules and install on Sitecore, but was not like the conception is not the same as it is now, like a marketplace, centralized. With they're going to be checking what you submit. That time you could just send in that module. No one was checking. There was like no quality. It can be polluted with things that didn't work. But now, you know, they're going to be checking. You're going to submit to the marketplace, creating that, right? Also, this rating feature, that will be cool. So you're going to see 5 stars. So all those things are a central marketplace. So that's really, really cool. And ecosystem. So Sitecore, honestly, I saw that they had like less than 30 apps account. And yesterday, they said 60 in one of presentations. But I haven't seen those 6 apps there. And for a Contentstack, I would say around 50. So optimized around 100. It always changing, and everyone is adding apps every time. And for Adobe ecosystem, it's there a long time, so we have a lot of apps there. So here we have the rating. So for Sitecore, so 3 for Sitecore, 4, 3, and 5, right? However, we have other criteria as well. So this criteria, ecosystem growth potential. So here I think is where Sitecore really stands out, right? So first we do have a really great community. So we have like every year we have like Sitecore hackathon, and you have like this year we didn't have many teams, 30 teams. Other years have 50, 70 teams. But anyway, imagine you have 30 teams working to create like cutting edge technology that you can put in Sitecore. So we've been doing this for like 10 years. So if you go into our Git repository, you're gonna see like countless things that we did, and it's for free there. And a lot of other teams did. Let's say those 70 teams did. Let's say 30 delivered something. So it's there, free code that you can just plug in. We did I think last year now we have this Sitecore branding awareness. So we did brand awareness before. So we did a free model with brand awareness that was connecting to Sitecore, connecting to ChatGPT, doing the brand awareness even before like Sitecore launched. So those hackathons, they create things that were not there. So it's a lot of free code that's there. So Sitecore community compared to the other competitors is really, really strong. We also have the Sitecore MVP program. So we have more than 200 MVPs. So what they're doing, what those MVPs are doing, they are contributing to the community. So MVP is being about contribution. So they are making this contribution every month basically. So they're creating blog posts, they are here speaking in the events, they're creating codes, so they're helping the community. So all this is trained in Sitecore community. It's something that I think it stands out from the other partners. And here we have very strong Sitecore community. So for that, we have 4 stars in Sitecore. For Contentstack, so we are hating here then 4 stars as well. And the other competitor here, we do have 3. And the other one, we do have 4. So a few key takeaways that you can have here. So the marketplace maturity, changes from those partners, right? So Adobe leads in longevity. It's been there for more time. Optimizely and the Contentstack, I would say they're like a mid-mature ecosystem. And Sitecore is just emerging, but it is a strategic position for growth. So that's, I think, is what we can have as a takeaway for Sitecore here. And here another criteria that we have is like native install experience. So for Sitecore, we are giving 5 stars for Sitecore. So it's pretty much very easy to install anything in Sitecore. So here we have in the marketplace, we select the icon picker. In here you can see it, who built that. So the developer is Sitecore, works with, so it's gonna rely on Sitecore APIs, resources, we have the website, the support, and you have the pricing as well. So all the information that you need, and you can just in a click install. So here 5 stars for Sitecore. Here we have the icon picker being used, so then you install, then you're gonna just select the icon picker. Here we do have 4 stars for the other competitor, 3 stars for the other one, and 2 stars for the other competitor here. So marketplace, so native install experience, 5 stars, partner publishing clarity, 4 stars, ecosystem maturity, 3 stars, ecosystem growth potential, 4 stars, enterprise trust, 5 stars, and overall for Sitecore we do have 4.2. For the other competitor 4, the other competitor here we have 3.2, and the last competitor here we do have 4. So Rodrigo.
Thanks. Finally, the last pillar in our comparison, connectivity and integration. Because everything is spread in today's world, we do need to have this integration layer. That's very important. Remember, we're not anymore in the monolith, right? You have in the top, you have your clients. Oh, it's 5 actually. You said 15. Okay, I'll try to rush out. Yeah, so we have the head applications in the top. In the bottom, we have the business service. How do we connect all that? You might have your Azure functions, maybe you might have your own stuff, but this is what we call the middleware. Sitecore has Sitecore Connect. It's a splendid product, and if the other criteria we were tired or closer to the competitors, this is where Sitecore really stands out. It's not just the Sitecore Connect, the API platform also supports you to create web APIs very quickly, visually, and you don't have to take care of all the infrastructure around that. First criteria is what? Yeah, low code, no code. There's an animation here. This is our recipe. We have our own blogs and one blog for the whole team, for Go Horse team. This recipe is reading our blogs and creating promotional blogs, posts in our Go Horse team. As you can see, it's very easy to set up. It's all visual. You can, and I'm clicking here in the ChatGPT call. You can see the prompt is being built there so easily. I'll try to run. Yeah, so low code, no code. Here we are ahead of everyone. You know, just Contentstack is a little closer, but still nothing compared to what Workato is. Connector breadth, yes, because you're using this kind of no-code, low-code platform, you want connectors, right? Workato comes with more than 1,000 of them, and it's very easy to find them and use them without having to implement them, which is also easy to create your own connectors. I'm in deep love with Sitecore Connect. For the last 3 years, I've been presenting about that. Yes, and yeah, that's our competitors. And enterprise scalability. So yeah, you want to be scalable, you want to be able to set up who can access what, you can activate, turn on and off, give access to IPs, block IPs, everything visually, expire that, what happens when there is concurrency, the queue, how big is the queue, and all that visually. And not to mention the visibility that you have on usage of your web APIs. You can see who is using what, who is not using, what are failing, and etc. Very, it's an iPaaS actually, a true iPaaS. So compared to Connect, we have a trailing competitors here. I'm trying to rush out, so I'm not reading the whole table. You take the picture you want, and here we are with the biggest difference between Sitecore and competitors. And finally, that's the end, the final scoreboard. And what we have here, folks, is I think the biggest message is this is like I said at the beginning, a picture of the whole movement movie, right? So it's like just a small part of what's going on, and this is keen to change. I believe this is it's actually unstoppable. That this is going to change every maybe 6 months. And that was an amazing exercise that we have done. Also very fun to do. We had a lot of fun doing this kind of comparisons. It's so good to put our hands on other products as well and compare and see where Sitecore is struggling and where they are doing well. I think that's pretty much our message. This is just one picture, and things are changing dynamically and very quickly. But in our opinion, based on subjective and objective criterias, we got that scoreboard. Thank you very much, my friends.